called me back today and he says, y'all ready for this? He says the buyer said they'll do $700. They'll do $700, but the buyer wants to come and wash a load of clothes to make sure that the units work. Legit, the agent and I are like laughing on the phone, and he knows his clients are being ridiculous and doing too much. You want to what? You want to offer less, and you want to come to the house and wash a load of clothes. This is why I do not care for resale real estate. Give me new construction 10 times out of 10. It's a Monday, and when I tell you it feels like a freaking Monday, I had a closing, so that's the good part of the Monday. But everything else, I'm gonna come back and tell y'all about this Monday and why you got to be built for tough. For real estate, your emotions got to be built for tough to be in this business. But you know what I'm gonna do with these few minutes that I have? I'm about to go get me some ice cream, and then we're gonna chat. So let me go get this ice cream. Finish that ice cream. It was so good. I should feel greedy and feel bad for telling y'all this, but I don't. I had 3 scoops, and I was gonna eat and talk to you guys, but yeah, I thought that would come across not well for you guys today. And it's only going on 2:00. I'm literally like laughing to keep from crying. And really not that bad, but I'm just laughing at this point. I'm not at the point where I cry, but I'm just like, what the heck next? Like, what? This is how I feel. So I'm just gonna laugh. Like, I went ahead and move my mic. I was thinking that it was the mic was the issue, so I got a different mic, but I just think it's me. Sometimes I get loud and then it gives this feedback. So I moved the mic. It's on my steering wheel, so we're gonna see how this sounds. Okay, I think that's gonna work. All right, it is now 2:01, and normally I'm on drop-off duty for my daughter and her friend, and then her friend's mom, my friend, she picks them up and then brings my daughter to me. But I'm on the road and I'm like, hey, I'm already there, so I'll just go ahead and pick them up too. So I'm gonna go ahead and record this, and I'm gonna get onto their school, pick them up, and get on with the rest of my day. And I have a full rest of the day, but I want to just have some real estate talk with you and give you a real life example, a day in the life example of why I say, like, you have to be built tough, or even if you're not built tough, your skin is gonna thicken so that you can survive in this real estate business. We're gonna be talking about the ugly side of real estate. Some beauty in this too, because I had a closing today, so that's the beautiful side. But the processes and all that goes into it, we're going to talk about this ugly side of real estate that a lot of people don't talk about. And it looks all glitz and glam and fun. And if you haven't purchased my book, you can check it out. It'll be linked here in the description box. It is available on Amazon. So started off the morning, wanted to get a head start on one of my listings. And this listing is like the listing that keeps on freaking giving, right? This has been the house that I had to go back and spray because the last meal the sellers cooked was fish. So that has been that house. It has been the house where it just feels like it's been ongoing, different things. This is the house where the agent left the house open for the buyer, then left the house open so he could come back with the contractor, and then my seller contacted me upset the day after I came back from vacation. Is this house, right? So the house appraises. I'm like, yes, the house appraises, but then the appraiser requires a repair. So got the repair done on Saturday, and I'm coordinating everything. Why? Because this is an older seller. Granted, she came as a referral from someone in my sphere. That's not the only reason I'm doing it. It's because she's an older seller, one, but also because if I gave her all the details and all the intricacies and all this of what's going on in this, it will overwhelm her. She really wouldn't comprehend and get it and all of that. So I'm just trying to give her high level information, because at the end of the day, she's just caring about her bottom line and what she's going to be able to walk away with. So I'm trying to facilitate and take care of and not put too much on her so it doesn't overwhelm her, because legit she doesn't, I don't want to say handle or process stuff well. Prime example. So I tell her the seller required a repair. I'm meeting the contractor at the house tomorrow to get it taken care of, such and such. She comes back with, well, how much is this going to cost? I was like, I'll give you an update in a little while. My update to her was let her know, listen, it's done. It's taken care of. I had originally estimated that a different repair was going to be $500, but this contractor was able to do both repairs for $500. So it's not costing you any more money. She's like, can I call you? I'm like, yes. The first thing she says is, man, this is going to eat up into my money. I'm not going to have any money left over. Not seeing, like, my God, you're a great agent. Thank you for taking care of this. Thank you for handling everything. Thank you. None of that. She's just, this is going to take care of my money. Like, this is where her mind is at. So I'm like, let me just give her as much high level stuff, because this is where she's at. Let me just get this done, right? So go over there Saturday, meet the contractor, get the repairs taken care of. Go back on Sunday because it had to do with cement. He was supposed to do it to match the brick, and he didn't, even though I advised him. So now I'm over there with spray paint, me and my husband, trying to get this thing to match as well as possible. So Monday morning, I'm like, all right, let me get these pictures. And he also had a repair in the attic, but she took care of that. So I'm like, let me get these pictures off to, the appropriate party so they can send the appraiser back out so we can close next week, Monday. So we got a week. Sent off the pictures, sent off that the repair is done, got the home warranty ordered, another thing for her, did all of that. Spoke to my seller for today's closing. She's on the phone crying. Bittersweet tears because of just her situation, letting the house go. She knows she needs to let the house go and move on to her next chapter, but it's still emotional, that emotional side, right? And I think I spoke about that in another video. Like, our clients also experience the emotional side of real estate, so we should have empathy for them. How did I forget to tell you all this? I had to come back. Just wait till you hear this one. Before I got to my closing, the agent called me. Same agent for the same house. Called me about something else we needed to resolve. So the seller, who has been going back and forth on whether the washer and dryer and refrigerator is included. I mentioned that before. At one point she said it is, then she said it wasn't. So it wasn't checked on the seller's property disclosure. So I was able to pull that off, like, hey, it wasn't on the seller's property disclosure and you didn't put it in your contract. And he was like, yeah, that was my fault. Okay. So I'm like, okay, if you want that, you have to pay the seller. The seller wants you to buy it from her. So the seller says $1,200 for the refrigerator and the washer and dryer. Okay. He takes it back to his clients. He comes back to me and says, they'll do $550. They don't really remember the items, but they'll do $550. I'm like, I already know $550 is not going to fly. And she's already saying, like, hey, if they're not going to take it, I'm going to give it to this family member. So while I was at the house on Saturday, while these repairs are getting done, I went and took video and pictures of these appliances, sent it to the agent and said, here are the appliances. I know $550 is not going to work, so please send this to the buyer, and have them reconsider and then let me know what they want to do. He called me back today and he says, y'all ready for this? He says the buyer said they'll do $700. They'll do $700, but the buyer wants to come and wash a load of clothes to make sure that the units work. What? Legit, the agent and I are like laughing on the phone. And he knows his clients are being ridiculous and doing too much. You want to what? You want to offer less and you want to come to the house and wash a load of clothes. They just like, I'm not sitting over there with you while you wash a load of clothes. He's like, I purchased several things like off of Facebook Marketplace and such. You don't go and test it out and do whatever. Like, when I tell you, this is why I do not care for resale real estate. Give me new construction 10 times out of 10. This is why one of the reasons why I do not like resale real estate, because there's so many different parties involved, but primarily the buyer and the seller. Let's just talk about the buyer and seller. If one of them is unreasonable, one or both, unrealistic, unreasonable, like, I thought we got past this during the inspection period, but here we are now talking about these items. And I feel like both of these parties aren't extremely realistic and really reaching. Or not even, Marcella's not reaching, but she just doesn't grasp the grasp. That's the agent calling me now. He probably has an update on the appraisal. Okay, I'm back. That was the agent just giving me an update. He's hopeful that they're going to get them to throw this out. I pray that they do. This agent just sounds so, I've been doing it for years. And I can't even say good old boy, good old galley, that I don't know. I can't call it. I pray that we can be done. Yeah, this buyer says this, $700, and he want to come do laundry. Sir, that ain't happening. No, that's not happening. And no. So I had a good chuckle on that one. But I'm like, for $700, she might just say, hey, I'll just let my family member get it. But it's not that simple. You know why? Because I had to bring up all of her items that she had in the basement that she'd been going back and forth, and I'll need more time, I'll get it out, I'll need more time. And then when that whole thing happened with them leaving the house unlocked and her accusing them of taking stuff, while we were there, she was like, yeah, am I going to get more time? I was like, you might have, but you just accused them of stealing stuff. Granted, they were in the wrong, but you just accused them of stealing stuff, which they didn't. Everything looked in place to me. But now she's back at, I spoke to my movers, and she's going to need like a week or so, actually 9 days, 8 or 9 days, to get the stuff out of the basement. So now she's trying to sell them these items. They're coming in low. The buyers mentioned to their agent that if she's going to leave her stuff in the basement, they want to charge her storage fees. So we could consider this a wash. Like, just go ahead and do the appliances for $700. They'll allow you to leave your stuff in the basement. But you think it's going to be that simple? Do you think it's going to be that simple? She's probably going to be annoyed that they want to charge her storage fees, annoyed that they want to offer her $700. See, this resale is for the freaking bird sometimes. Like, not even sometimes. Because I promise you, if it's not the buyers and sellers, it's the appraisal. If it's not, well, yeah. So that's this issue. And not too long ago, she texted me and she's like, can I turn off the utilities now? I've already told her and put it in writing. Utilities need to stay on through closing. But what did I tell you? She only thinking about her bottom line, money. So can I turn off the utilities? No. And by the way, they have to stay on through closing. And by the way, this is the issue that I'm working on and trying to deal with the appraiser. And then she asked where closing was and what time. As of right now, this is when it is, but I need to get this issue resolved. I have not even brought up the appliances and this whole items in the basement thing. These are the transactions where you should be getting 1% more. So yeah. And the agent actually said when he has to coordinate and handle things, he does. His percentage is increased. And I get it. I totally get it. Learning lesson for me going forward. I'm going to be handling and all this stuff. Yes, it's going to be an increase. So back to the video. Go to the closing, really smooth closing. That's why when you experience smoothness in real estate, you really appreciate it. And I told him, like, I appreciated this. The closing attorney, it was just smooth. We were out of there in less than an hour. So that went really well. The client's really happy. And this is closing 1 of 2 for her. So she sold today and she's purchasing on Thursday. Cool. On the way back from her closing, I get a call from the appraiser. And the appraiser is asking me, like, hey, I got these pictures. I saw that you guys fixed the crack, but did you level the stairs? Nobody told us to level the stairs. Well, yeah, I put it on page 2 of the report. That was not communicated to me. We fixed the crack. And now I got the appraiser over here that is, appraiser do too much. Why are you asking for so much? So now she wants the stairs to be leveled, which will require either way, breaking up the current stairs and either putting back wooden stairs or putting back the brick stairs. I'm partially kicking myself because when we were doing this repair, I wondered because the picture above the picture said level stairs. The agent communicated to me that it was filling in the crack. So I went with filling in the crack. I'm going with what the agent said. I was just like, let me do what he said and we hope it passes. Hope it passes. In hindsight, I probably should have got clarification because at the end of the day, it's going to fall back on me. So take that as a lesson. On one hand, I was like, well, let me not raise this issue. But no, it's going to end up coming back on me anyway. So I might as well have gotten clarification. Yeah. So now on the phone, call back the agent, call back my contractor. Mind you, did I tell you that I paid for this repair on Saturday? I paid for this repair on Saturday. I'm not even going to the seller like, hey, you need to make up for payment now. Trying to make it as smooth and simple as possible for her. Even though she doesn't appreciate it, doesn't get it. And my intention is to get reimbursed with the closing attorney, right? But now I got to go back to my contractor who's like, I could take care of it in 2 weeks. And I'm like, no, we're supposed to close next week. Like, so he's trying to find somebody else that could possibly do it sooner. Speak to the buyer's agent. And he's like, well, what we need all that for? They're going to break up the stairs anyway and put on the ramp because their mother-in-law is in a wheelchair. So he calls the lender. He gets me, the lender, and him on the 3-way call. And we're talking about this. And the lender is like, listen, I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going to reach out to who I need to reach out to. But if this appraiser is, it's not like we could just override it because we don't agree with it. If this appraiser is going to stick with it, but let me see what I can do. So I'm waiting to hear back from them. The next call I get is on an offer that I submitted yesterday on Easter. It was also Easter when I went over there to spray paint this brick. I don't want to be working on Easter. But I'm not going to complain for having business, but I really don't want to be working on Easter. But these things needed to be taken care of. This new client wanted to submit an offer, was trying to see if he can go new construction, but wanted to submit this offer. I hear back from the agent on this offer, and he's like, yeah, he's telling me that, yeah, basically my client just needs to come up $5,000, which I'm like, okay, my client already anticipated that, so we good. But then he's like, yeah, and the compensation he's offering is 2.5. He's offering what he's offering and not asking for closing costs because he's expecting that I'm going to get my full compensation. And the agent is saying, well, listen, agents, to each his own, but I have videos on this. Your compensation is your compensation. He's coming at me like, with all these changes and stuff, I don't ask my buyers to cover the difference. I just leave it alone. Whatever they're offering, that's what they're offering. So the seller's paying 5% and we're splitting it 2.5 each. Okay, I hear what you're saying, but that's on you that you agreed to take that. He really wanted to pay 4, and then we would have been splitting 2. That's not my problem. That's not my problem. That's just not my problem. Like, that's not my problem. Like, it's not like my client came in, asked you for closing costs, and is expecting compensation. He didn't ask you for closing costs because he's like, as long as they cover your compensation, I'll take care of my own closing costs. But you telling me how you're selling, you telling me you're selling how you do it, and you don't ask. I don't, sir. I don't care what you do. Like, that's you and your business. That's you. In my opinion, you can't show your value or just decide that you don't want to show your value, but teach his own. That's how I see it. I'm not out here dice rolling with people. Am I going to get paid? How much are you going to get paid? Dude, like, no, this is my fee for service. This is all I offer. So that's the compensation I expect to receive. This is just me and my business. So I did end up calling him back and just apologizing. I had a lot of stuff coming towards me because when he was coming at me like, that's just with you and your buyer, whatever you guys have agreed upon, such and such. Yeah, that's my standard of service. Yes, that is between us. However, what I called him back about is because my client did not ask for closing costs. Did your seller not expect to pay any closing costs? Like, make it make sense. So I'm not going to bring up the compensation piece, but you want him to come to 405. So I think the difference is going to be like 2,000 some change. So no, he's not coming up to 405. He'll come to 402 something. He's not asking for closing costs. So you guys, you take it or leave it. Or we're about to go over here to this new construction. That's how I see it going in my mind. But we'll see. The other thing that he said, which I'm like, it's a long time, but teachers on you. It's like, the difference is like $2,000. It's like $2,000. Like, I don't know what money tree you got in your backyard. $2,000 is a significant amount of money. That's significant bill money. That's mortgage, or if not close to all of mortgage. But don't discredit it as 0.5 or whatever. No, it's a significant amount. So we're standing on this business. But you do you, to each his own. If you want to make those concessions, you can. But I do not like to hear agents almost like they're doing their buyer a favor. Like they're no, not even their buyer a favor. Like they're the better agent because they don't pursue that from the buyer. Listen, one thing I learned a while ago, people find money for what they find important. They find money for what they value. Your client, that buyer, will find money for that new dining room table. Easy. They can find it to cover the rest of your compensation. So that's just how I feel about it. Got another insert for you. So with the client and this offer, right? I still need to talk to him and share with him the offer, but I kind of want to, be strategic and, present, not just telling him, but like showing him numbers wise, this is what it would look like. And I've been in the car, so I plan to do that this evening. So his first option, he wanted to go new construction. The house is more. However, the numbers could work out if he changes his loan type. So right now he's conventional and he is just adamant on not having PMI. So he could do conventional, put down 20%. We're talking about $100,000. Or he can go FHA, keep $90,000 in his pocket, and his payment would be $500 more. To me, I would go to FHA route, keep the $90,000. I did the math, and he could pay this extra $500 for 15 years going the FHA route to get the house that he really wants. If he even stayed in the house that long, 15 years. However, he's so bent on going conventional, paying down all this money. So now this is the transaction we have on the table. I really want him to consider going new, get the house you want, which is new construction. Keep the bulk of money in your pocket. Yeah, the payment is going to be higher. However, it's the house that you want and you'll have the reserves because you're not going to have to put that down. You most likely are not going to stay in this house for 15 years. And they're paying closing costs and they're paying my full. I feel like compensation. I just feel like the whole deal works out better. But The reason why I brought this up is just something that I don't like this with when it comes to new construction. Yes, I prefer new construction, but when this agent likes to push the monetary side of it. And I get some agents are sharks and that's going to appeal to them, but I don't like the salesiness. I don't like the salesiness. And like yesterday, he was trying to push it like, yeah, there's a 5% co-op. Let's get this deal done. I want to get you money in your pocket. I want to get you money. Like that stuff rubs me the wrong way. And I'm not even a client. Like, I don't like when agents do that or salespeople do that. Like, yeah, I'm in it this is my bread and butter. This is what I do for a living, but I'm not out here pushing property, selling property just because it has a bonus in it for me. So I don't, it feels yucky when he says that. And he mentioned it again today. Yeah, I wish we would have got this under contract yesterday. This would have been an extra $10,000 in your pocket. And y'all might be looking at me crazy like, girl, hop on that. Like, you should have got it done. I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way. And then, like, I get you're supposed to follow up, but then it's like he just texted me maybe 2 hours since I talked to him. He was like, you talked to your client yet? Like, relax. Like, sit down. Like, I guess you got to follow up, but I don't like that salesy, yucky feeling. But I know that's just me. Other agents, I guess, how they built and how they made up. I know everybody has a different profile, a disc profile and all that, but that does not speak to me. Okay. Now back to the video again. So yeah, that's what this Monday is looking like. So thank God closing. Thank God that's on track. Then you got these other two. And thankfully I'm not truly stressing out about it. It's annoying, but I'm not truly stressing out about it. I do believe one reason why I'm not stressing out about it is because I have business in the pipeline. One, I have leads that I need to call to get more business in the pipeline. Two, but I think the biggest thing is I am not strapped for money. It's not flowing like a river, but I'm not strapped like, my gosh, if this deal doesn't go through, how am I going to pay my bills? And that is a huge reason that causes a lot of stress for real estate agents, especially if you're new in this business. You get in this business and you're like, listen, I have to make this deal work because if I don't, I can't pay my bills. Doing business with that type of pressure is not the business you want to do. It is stressful as heck, and it will cause you to take on clients that you normally would not take on or know you really shouldn't take on. You may have a client that you know you should let go. Let me go pick up this child. But yeah, you may take on a client that you know you should let them go. Like, listen, ma'am, sir, ma'am, I have showed you 50 houses, or what you say you want keeps changing. You keep coming up with reasons why you don't like this house and why you're not going to put in an offer. That waste any more time with them. But I made my point with my daughter calling. I think it kind of threw me off. But my point was, you do not want to do desperate real estate. So if you plan on getting into this business, you will have people tell you that, hey, you need to go full time. You shouldn't do it part time. I started part-time. I did that for 2 years, and then I transitioned into a full-time agent, and this is my 14th going on 15th year in this business. So I think it is doable for you to do this business part-time if your mind is in it and you treat this business like an actual business. And while you're part-time, your clients really shouldn't know that you're part-time. It shouldn't be like they call you like, I'm at work, I can't talk to you right now. Like, as far as they know, this is your business. This is what you do. While I do believe there is some validity in it that, you should be full-time and giving it your all, that's not doable and wise for everyone. If you are going to take that approach, have a good savings, a 6 to 12 month savings, so that you don't have to do desperate real estate. Do not quit your job and get into real estate and then say, well, they say you can close a real estate deal within 3 months, so I should be getting a closing within 3 months, because that's going to force you to do desperate real estate. That's my point. One thing I forgot to say is the whole ice cream piece of it. Yeah, I went ahead and fed my endorphins today. Is it endorphins? Dopamine? Whatever. I fed it. I don't normally recommend your emotions, essentially stress eat, because it's freaking real estate. You'll be stress eating. Or if it's not stress eating, it could be drinking or smoking or whatever you do to make you handle stress. So I'm more intentional with that nowadays. But today's the day I'm like, yes, I'm going to enjoy some ice cream. So I consciously made the decision. But as a tip for you, just be mindful of that, because you will find yourself, if that's always your go-to. So I try to replace it with things like praying and just maybe taking a bath, more healthier type options, because if you do food and whatever, yeah, it's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good. Not in this business. Check out all the things. Definitely check out the ugly side of real estate so you could do this business right. All right. Have a positive, peaceful, and productive day.